What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have a special guest. Tate Jones is in the building. He wants to tell us everything, including the rumors. He wants to silence the critics, and we're going to start from the recent. How you doing today, brother?
I'm good, bro. Myself.
Man, I'm good. I'm really good, man. I'm better than good.
Right.
You know, we'll just take it from the most recent, man, ever since the news broke about Junior Fa in the sparring partner of Deontay Wilder. He mentioned the bicep injury. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, he did have a bicep injury. But he mentioned that before. He mentioned it in what was that? I want to say it was March or April.
Mm-hmm.
They mentioned that on the PBC podcast. And actually, he didn't even know that it was going to ask him that question. Honestly, they asked him. You know, he told what happened. Of course, Junior Fa came out and said that it happened in camp. Even though Deontay said it had happened in the fight, but like I said before, you know, no matter what he says, he's going to get criticized for it. So, but it definitely did happen in camp. It actually happened on the last day of sparring. So he went into the fight with an injury, but it's not the first time that he went into a fight with an injury at all.
Right.
Some people say they disagree with, fighters don't come in and bring 100%, but I disagree, because fighters do come in to fight. I don't think everybody's always 100%. You know what I mean? From all the bump time that you get in camp and just different bruises, or something might feel right with your hands. You never know, but I can attest to that because I'm a fighter as well. Of course, there's going to be times where you do come in a fight when you are 100%. You don't feel like nothing is wrong or anything, but I can say that his bicep muscle, it did tear off the bone, and Deontay is one of those guys who just he's a warrior, man, and he wanted to fight and he kept going. So it wasn't the first time that he went into a fight with an injury. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whatever the case may be. So he believed, like, he totally believes in himself. So that's what it is. So he did it. Some people may not agree because he wants 100%, but it is what it is. That's his career.
Okay, so he tore it off the bone at the last day of sparring, right?
Yeah, it was the last day of sparring. And honestly, I don't believe that he actually knew how, I get to the certain extent of the injury was. You know what I mean? And I can also assure you that after the fight with Fury, he did have surgery. He actually, had surgery Monday morning.
Okay.
That was 2 days after the fight. So he immediately went back into to the hospital, to get worked on.
Okay, so what was the time frame between the last day of sparring and the actual day of the fight, the 22nd, the night of the 22nd?
I don't know what was the time frame, but normally we end the last physical activity of camp during the week before it's time to fly to LA.
Okay.
I mean, or not LA, but Vegas.
Vegas. Okay. So
typically somewhere between that time. I actually wasn't there the last day, but I actually had got a call about how things went the last day.
Okay, so
sure.
Fair to say, maybe 2 weeks, 9 days, 10 days before the fight, maybe a little longer than that, if you had to guess.
No, I think this was maybe about 7 days.
About 7 days. Okay, that ain't much time to recover, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like I said, I don't think that anyone knew the certain extent of it at that time.
Right.
And at the same time, you got to ask yourself everything that's on the line. You know what I mean? You got to ask yourself, what's on the line here?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And at the same time, when you're dealing with someone like him, he believes in himself. You know what I mean? So, for the people who say he'll make excuses, but shit, how can a man make excuses when the man gave you everything? He, put everything on the line, for injury. People say, oh, he could have just have canceled the fight, but what else is at stake? Nobody else knows. You know what I mean? It could have been other things that been at stake. You know? Nobody knows but him.
Well, I'll say, this is what I'll say about that. I always wondered, and that explains a lot, because a lot of people think that Wilder hadn't improved, but I seen him improve in the Ortiz fight. He was able to hit the target in the 7th round, which it took him 10 rounds the first fight.
Right.
Second Fury fight, he was able to land that right hand right on the temple of Fury in the first fight in the middle of the ring. So a lot of people say, oh, well, he didn't look this or that. Yeah, in the later rounds, he did look, we'll get to that. He looked a little different, but he was able to pull the trigger and do something that it took him 9 rounds to do in the first fight.
Right.
So that explains if the power wasn't there like it's supposed to, because he caught this man. I know Fury kind of saw it, but by the time he could react to it, it was already too late.
Right.
He was able to deliver that punch to the temple, and that's one of those shots you don't recover from. You know? So now you mention the injury, then I could see, okay, that was probably what was restricting the power from the right hand. What do you think about that?
Yes, I think the same thing. I mean, if you go back and listen to the after the fight, you know, Fury even said that he caught me with a right hand earlier in the fight, and he said, I think he said it run me bell or something like that. He said to that certain extent, and I'm quite sure it did, because this is a man that has natural power. You know what I mean? Natural God-given power.
Right.
And of course, you know, when he touched you, everybody's seen what happened. I mean, to numerous of fighters. You know what I mean? But and that, you know, an injury like that could have taken something like that away from him. You know what I mean?
Right.
But for Fury to still feel it, it just lets you know what type of power he truly possesses.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, you know, it also shows what type of tolerance for pain. I mean, did he tell you that he was in pain when he was throwing those punches?
You know what though? It's crazy you say that, because he always talk about I have a very high tolerance of pain. He always say that.
Right.
Like he's always say that, and I've seen some grueling stuff. You know what I mean? Over my time of being around, I've seen some grueling stuff, and I'm like, I don't see how he can do it, but he's got a very high tolerance of pain, like very high tolerance.
Like the reflection of the Molina fight, where he broke his hand and his arm muscle.
Yeah. Yep. Hand and arm. Yep. Sure did. I remember he still got the scar from him. You know what I mean?
So as of right now, that's healed 100%. You ready to go? You think?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's talk about the rumors, man. First of all, let's talk about let's talk about this costume. We got to get it out there, man. The costume. Tell me the story about the costume. Let's counterpunch it.
Okay. Yeah. So like, you know, when we talked the other day, I was just pretty much stating that, you know, a lot of people talked about the costume. But my counterpunch to that was basically saying that, you know, if everybody yelling costume, he said this, he said that, he's making excuses here and there. But what has he said? Because he never talked to, you know, Lance Palmeyer and came out and said that it was the costume, this, and the third. And like I said before, if anyone ever followed my social media, I show what happens before and after the fight. You know what I mean? Before this time, of course, with the sense of urgency that was going around at that time, I didn't have anything recorded at that night until after the fight, when I did congratulate Fury. But in that locker room, there was only a handful of people. There's majority of family and majority of PBC members. If there was any media members in there at the time, because I do know that it was excused out, and some couldn't even get in. So I know, like I said before, telling you the other day, Deontay was sitting in a chair. Of course, you see the pictures that was floating around with, you know, his wife, fiance around him when she was kneeling and pretty much, you know, taking care of him, along with his kids. You know what I mean? And I was, like I said before, I was actually on the opposite side. So from that time to go to the opposite side of the room to get the cut in the ear that needed to be stitched up, and to the bathroom, he didn't have any conversation with anybody outside of just our team, you know what I mean, or anybody who was just with us. So, like I said before, the stories about the costume had came out that same night. And I was thinking to myself, like, when the hell did he do an interview?
Right.
So because if he did an interview, it must be two Deontays because I know I was there. You know what I mean? I know I was there, and that was crazy. But like I told you, there was so many reports coming out before we even got back up to the room after the fight. You know what I mean? Like I said, my mom had called me and said, "Are y'all okay? Are y'all going to the hospital?" I'm like, what are you talking about? We're not going to the hospital. We're going upstairs. But they just said on the TV, y'all go to the hospital. I'm like, nah, we ain't going to the hospital. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right, right. So the small circle of people that was surrounding you, that was impossible for anybody to say a costume excuse because no one interviewed anybody, right?
Right.
Gotcha.
Nobody interviewed with nobody interviewed, you know, what nobody interviewed Deontay. And like I said the other day about the costume, if you look at the last the last 3-4 fights, Deontay has had heavy gear coming out, or that looks heavy, you know, but I can attest to it because I've helped put on the costume on him. You know what I mean? Right. It has had a little weight to it, but that wouldn't be the cause of him or cause of him for his legs to look like, because it's been 3-4 fights previously, you know, leading up to that fight where he had heavy stuff on.
Right.
You know what I mean? So why would just one fight make his legs look like that? That's retarded to me, at least. You know what I mean? Because I've single-handedly, you know, me and my other brothers on the team helped put on his gear before. So like, y'all blame and I heard it from, you know, of course we went into the whole quarantine. I just kept hearing it to the point I was like, you know, I can't let my brother go out like that. Right. But to him, you know, to him, he's in his own world. He doesn't pay attention to what's going on out here. You know what I mean? He's in his own world. None of this stuff bothers him at all. But it's just, you know, a person like me, for the love and care that I got for him, it's like, yo, y'all really don't know what y'all talking about. And then the simple fact that I actually helped put on the gear and stuff like that, I'm like, I really don't know. So it's mind blowing that I've had a chance, and I know for a fact the previous 3 fights, you know what I mean, the costumes, because he's a tall guy, of course he's going to have a little weight and stuff on him because he's a tall guy, got to fit him, broad shoulders and things of that nature, got to fit him. Right. You know, of course, it does have a little weight to it, but it's not going to make me lose the legs and things of that nature. But, you know, it's a bunch of baloney to me, but I do know that he never did an interview, so that's why I'm like, where did it come from? But I do know that he didn't do an interview with Pugmire.
Oh,
and like I said before,
he did not do an interview with Pugmire.
He did not, okay. Because like I said, when it first came out, Pugmire said via, I forgot what I don't know if he said via or he said from Deontay's mouth. But if that was the case, why didn't where's your receipt? Because I've been sitting here for the last 2-3 months, you know what I mean, on different platforms stating, show me a receipt. Show me where he said this. Where's a voice recorder? Where's it written? Where do you have it documented?
Right.
Because all we know is just word of mouth.
Absolutely.
I can easily go say, oh, he killed him, but then you're going to say, nah, he didn't. No, oh, he killed him. Then the whole world believed that he killed him because I said it.
Right. So in other words, the rumor started with him. So more than likely, he started the rumor.
Exactly. Because I remember when I forget who it was. It was via Twitter, you know, and somebody sent it to me. And I was like, man, he lying. That's the first thing that came to my head. I'm like, he lying. I said, man, Deontay, you haven't even did an interview. I said, he's lying. That's the first thing I said. I didn't know it was going to grow to be so big, though.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't.
Well, you know, a lot of things, man, it just grows and mutates, you know, like one of the latest things about the mental illness diagnosis.
Came from who?
Lance Pugmire, right?
Lance Pugmire. That's what I'm saying. So, and then for him to even come out and say that, it's like, what gives you the audacity to say something like that? Not let alone the audacity to say something like that. What makes you feel that you're so privileged to even do an interview with him? Right. Because it was so-called, quote unquote, easy to get an interview with him in the past. I'm sorry, sir. Things have changed.
So he attempted to get an interview with Deontay recently, or
the way he was speaking, you know, the way he was speaking, But I haven't heard that from, Deontay. I haven't heard that from Shirley or the rest of the members in the crew. I haven't heard that. And when it comes to media, a lot of things are ran by me first. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm like, oh, it kind of was mind blowing. Even when I showed it to him, he fell out laughing. He was like, like when is this shit gonna stop? He's like, man, I'm doing well. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm in great spirits.
Yeah.
He's like, when is shit gonna stop? He said, man, they get a joy out of kicking the man down, but I'm good.
Right.
He said, I'm good. Like I said before, I've never seen him in a depressed mind state. Never. He's always happy. Hell, look. we good. We having fun. You know what I'm saying? And do our thing and out in the ocean, chilling, scuba diving, things of that nature, man. Like we living life. You know what I mean? So we make music at the house, just playing around on the not keyboard, but the beats and the instrumentals and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Just having a good time. We can't rap. You know what I mean? We just been having fun. You know what I mean? But like, man, I don't understand it. You know what I mean? Maybe it's not meant for me to understand. You know what I mean? But we're having fun, bro. Blessed. Training, having fun, bro. That's it.
Yeah, man. It's easier to train the body than to ease the mind. So that's a good way to ease the mind. So
for sure.
Definitely. Next topic, man, I want to talk to you about. Well, the counterpunch, Lance Pugmire, he was pretty much the starter of the costume rumor and the mental health rumor.
Right.
Okay. That's what we just got to get that out in the air, because people need to know, because people were clowning Wilder because they were saying he was making excuses for the costume. And what happens is when you hear that from sources, the only thing we can do is report on it.
Right.
So if we don't have anything to go on, if we have no response, that's why I'm glad that you're taking the interview. We won't know.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
and like I told you the other day, even though we got we had differences across the line or whatever, but it is just crazy that a lot of people just sit and talk about something that they don't know, but then go make a video about it, but they don't know. You know what I mean?
Right.
But just from a brother to another brother, now I can see where both our heads are, and we can okay, that's what's going on. I see what you're doing and how you operate. Okay. So it's different, man. But man, this stuff it's crazy, man. It's mind blowing. Like I told you the other day, it's to the point now. Every day or every other week is something new, to the point that it's sad now. And it's like they're trying their very best to get this man to talk, because they don't know what he got in store. They don't know what he got in mind. They want to know what he's thinking so bad.
Right.
And it's like they're itching. So, and it's like they're playing mind games and saying that he don't want to take the fight, and that's just a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm just looking at it like, huh?
Look, the counterpunch, all that nonsense. Like I told people on my platform, if he did not want to take the fight, he wouldn't have quickly exercised the contract obligation to fight.
That was done. And like even though I knew it was going to be a rematch anyway, but that was a couple days later when Shelly had said it. You know what I mean? I think it was like a day later, 2 days later. You know what I mean? Of course we're going to exercise that, because what happened at hand, and as a man, that won't be tolerated.
Exactly. Because see, actions speak louder than words, and what he did and what we know he did, he exercised the rematch clause.
Yes, sir.
So I don't see why people are, there might not be this fight on both sides, because I heard on both sides of the spectrum, people saying, well, there might not be a fight because of this or that. I'm like, it's going to be a fight. If he didn't want to fight, he wouldn't have exercised the rematch clause.
Right. It's contract. Yeah. It's contract. He can't do nothing. So all this talk about him wanting to fight Joshua or want to go get 2 fights before, he's contracted. He can't do nothing without us. Or without him, rather.
Counterpunch.
Right. Yes,
next, let's talk about Mauricio Sulaiman.
Yes, sir.
Got to talk about him, because now we're going into the glove gate and him with the excuses that he made and the things that he said. Now, you want to, this is what he said verbatim. Okay, I'm gonna see what, this is what he had to say. He said, I was present in both fights. I was in the dressing room in both fights, both Wilder and Fury's dressing room. He said one was in California and the other one was in Nevada. Look, first of all, let's back up. I was in the dressing room in both fights. Okay. Was he in the dressing room in both fights? Oh, let's put it this way. Was he in the dressing room in the second fight?
What's looking at is get our the hands wraps and stuff like that.
Right.
No, not getting the hand wraps. No.
Where was Mauricio at when you saw him in the second fight?
It's like he always do. He normally comes into the locker room and meet on a meet and greet basis, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And once, you know what I'm saying, once there's a winner of the match, he'll come and say congratulations and be on his way. Those are the only 2 times I've ever seen him doing a last 5-6 year run. But I've seen Mauricio before the fight and after the fight.
Because
this time I didn't see him after the fight.
Right.
Honestly, I don't even know if I seen him this time before the fight. To be honest, to be like the God honest truth, to be truthful. But I do know for a fact when he was getting his hands wrapped and all putting on the gloves, he wasn't in there. So when he came out and said that, I instantly, like you say, easily counterpunch that because I have all the facts. I have all the videos. Like I told you the other day, I got everything.
Right. So him saying this by itself, I was in the dressing room, in both fights. He was never in the dressing room. So the question you ask yourself is, why would he go out of his way to lie?
Like I said before, he's on the opposite side, helping them.
That's crazy.
And like I said before, some people may not see it. Some people do see it, but not just with Wilder Fury, but other fights as well. You can tell who they want to be a champion. You can tell they pick and choose. I want him to be my champion. I want him to be my champion. We recently seen it with a upset robbery fight with a fighter 2-3 weeks ago. They pick and choose who they want to be champion. When you get knocked out, you just get knocked out. That's just, it is what it is. And when you got some of these close fights, I truly believe, of course, might have to do something with promotion. You know what I mean?
Right.
It might have to do something with this fighter's supposed to win, so we'll give him a draw because he might have lost. We'll give him a draw, or they might have gave an Undertaker push of some lucha. You know what I mean? So that's how I be seeing it going. But I honestly believe he's on the other side. Honestly, I mean, because why would you come out and say something like that if you know you wasn't back there? And then to make matters even worse, when I heard it, I instantly, oh, okay, you know, because of course, like I say, some of the media people hit me up. I gave them all the videos. You tell me where it was, because I can name off the top of my hand in less than 10 seconds who was all back there.
Right.
You know, so he wasn't there watching getting their hand wrapped. So why would you say that?
Yeah, it's definitely. It's definitely suspicious where if he wasn't there, he could have just easily say, hey, I wasn't there. So, you know, the officials were, but I wasn't there. Because he said, well, there in both cases, there were 3 inspectors in the dressing room. Well, why did you have to say that you were there personally if you wasn't even there?
Trying to save face.
You know, so that's something that has to be answered. Those things have to be answered.
Right, you do.
You know, that because I always thought about Mauricio. I'm like, look, he's not the most honest cat. You can't take what he says for cash value a lot of times. So I kind of side-eye him on a lot of things that he says. So when he said that, I had to counterpunch, and I'm like, well, wait, he wasn't in there. But see, reading this, he gave the politician answer, but he was not in the dressing room. So that is not true.
It's
you know
not.
What I mean?
Very much so not true. You know, and I tell him to his face. Shit wasn't true, fat ass. You know, so it is what it is. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, if you wasn't back there, why would you lie? You know what I mean?
Right.
To manipulate the boxing fans, the audience, whatever you're trying to put on the show for, you wasn't.
Right.
That's just the truth.
Hmm. Man, that definitely is something to be questioned, and it's definitely shady. You
Oh
know,
yeah, for sure.
um, let's get into Glovegate 1.
Okay.
Now, Glovegate 1, because a lot of people, because the rumors are spreading around of what Glovegate 1 represented. What
hmm
was that? Was that from the first fight, right?
The glove plate one.
Yeah.
Well, some people, they looked at the second fight
Mhm.
and they seen the same resemblance from the first fight, and then they went back to the first fight. Were like, hold on, you didn't cheat once, you cheated twice,
Right.
and a lot of people got it from the glove flap.
Right.
Well, even with that being said, you go back and look at previous fights before that, you don't see any of that nowhere in Fury fights, any of it before, of course, the Wilder fight. You
Okay.
don't see that anywhere.
So between the first fight and the second fight, because I
Uh-huh.
remember the first fight, the glove was flicking, and it looked like it resembled a tennis ball in a sock. You know, it
Right.
looked like a tennis
Like
ball in
that.
a
Right.
sock. And the question I asked you, when he fought, when Tyson Fury, when Deontay Wilder fought Tyson Fury the first time, how did his punches feel in the first fight? Contrast the second fight.
Like I told you the other day, he told me straight up. He said, "Man, he pillow fisted." You know what I mean? He's pillow fisted. But and like I also said, that wasn't the first time that I heard that. That wasn't the first time that I heard that. I've heard that from numerous of heavyweights who sparred him. You know what I mean? Even from the ones who has actually had a fight with him.
Mm-hmm.
All said the same thing. Not the ones that been knocked out by him. I don't know who those guys was, but I'm
Right.
talking about the ones that actually went toe to toe with him and gave him a run for his money. I've actually, heard the same thing. Like, he's pillow fisted. I've heard this numerous of times.
So when he was flicking that jab, that pretty much tickled Wilder, right? When he was
The
flicking,
the forced him.
yeah.
Well, he didn't say which punch. You know what I mean? But he was just saying that he's pillow fisted. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? He
Okay.
didn't just say that the jab was just, you know what I mean? He was just saying that in general, he's pillow fisted.
Oh, so pretty much with any punch he throws, he's just a weak puncher, right?
Right, right.
Okay, because I looked at the first fight and I looked back at Wilder's fights and I seen the tough fights, the Dunapas fights. He had the nice friendly pie.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
Rod Washington fight, the jab was getting to him a bit before he caught him in the fifth of the sixth.
Yeah.
And I look at that, and I'm comparing that to Fury, and I didn't really see the same type of swelling. You know what I mean? In the first fight. So a little bit, because it was 12 rounds. Well, with Gerard
Right,
Washington, he only went, 5-6 rounds with Gerard Washington, right? So
right,
he was swelling in, but he wasn't really swelling like he was in the Gerard Washington fight within 6 rounds, because it didn't last 6 rounds. He caught him with the right and got him out of there. So
right,
it took 12 rounds for Fury to inflict some type of swelling on Wilder, and it took 12 rounds to do it.
right.
So the question I asked, I'm thinking to myself, well, what do you think in the first fight? What do you think the effect with with the floppy glove was? What would it benefit?
What do I think it benefits?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I don't know, because I've never done it myself. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I can't sit here and say, what does it benefit? You know what I mean? But as a fighter, if I don't know, I can't answer that, because, like I said before, I've never done it. I've never
Yeah.
tried. Don't want to try. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you would have to think that it's some type of thing they use to, me personally, cheat. You know what I mean? Some type of way they got, system they got. And I like I told you the other day, I question that, because Ben Davison made a statement. He was like, "We're gonna beat them. We gonna, the footage. We gonna beat them with a jab. Yeah, we gonna beat them with a jab. Yeah." And I'm questioning that, like, why is he so, emphasizing this jab? You know what I mean? And like that was the first fight. So I'm like, why is he? It's something up with that. Not only that, you see, what's his name? The guy who Floyd Mayweather beat the hell out of. Get Ricky Hatton.
Ricky Hatton, right?
You see Ricky Hatton come over to the ring and pull down a glove. And a lot of people are like, well, he wasn't. He was pulling it up. Now, if you rewind the video and forward it back, it's completely the opposite. Like, I know God gave everybody eyes. Now whether you want to see it or not, that's not upon me. But what I know, my eyes not gonna lie to me. What I saw is what I saw. Not only did I see it, a lot of other people seen it too. You know, he pulling the glove down. But my thing is this. He was saying that Tyson, he said something like Tyson was trying to hold his arm up from him falling. I'm thinking to myself, like, well, that sounds stupid. You know what I mean? Because he was already on the edge. Why would he pull his arm out and you're on the edge? If I put my arm out, you're going to fall off the ring. You know what I mean? So it's just, you know, like I said before. And that was the personal discussion between me and the person who I told you I had talked to from their team.
Right.
So then it didn't make sense. You know what I mean? And it's crazy, bro. But like, for us benefiting, I don't know personally, because I've never tried it. Even when it was, you know, when it first came out, I've never tried it. You know what I mean? I don't know. But what I do know is the main question. I'll just wait till we get there.
Okay. Well, hey, you know what? First fight, he had pillows for fists. So if he did try to cheat or some type of slick whatever in the first fight, it really wasn't successful.
Right.
If I had to guess, my counterpunch on why he did that, if he stretched and he put that glove further, that gives him another 3 inches to stay back from Wilder.
Distance, right? Yeah.
And then if it flops, it could be as a distraction. And if it's a distraction, he can see Wilder come with that right. Because I think the first fight, just my opinion, I think Wilder wanted to hurt Fury bad. I think he wanted to hurt him to the point where because you ever seen something you wanted to do real bad and you just wanted to, you know. And I think when Fury was flicking it, he was looking at that shoulder. He was watching that shoulder. Now, if it was out a little bit, it was just to distract him, to put it in his face. You know, Ali used to do the hand movement, you know, and he tell him, yo, you can't do that. Stop that, you know. But he did a lot of those tactics and tricks. But that's the only thing that I can really see, because he really didn't hurt Wilder. And you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? If that's the only thing that I think that he did it for. But it did look, like I said, like a sock with a tennis ball in it. That's what it looked like. You were flicking it out there. So it looked, and I've seen Ali and Larry Holmes and all those cats, but it wasn't never to that extreme. Now,
but see those gloves back then not made like the ones now.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Those gloves back then was made where you can put your hand in those gloves and you can lift up and you can see the palm. Now they're more stiffer on the bottom end of it, to where you try to lift it. It's kind of hard to really, you know, to get like that. So it got to really. So I don't know. It's hard though. You know what I mean? And you get from a lot of different type of gloves. Now, those gloves, that's another story too.
Well, let's get to that story. Speaking of two, how about Glovegate 2? So here we go. So speaking of two, the pictures have emerged of the right hand. We've seen the grooves in the right hand. I think it resurrected itself, about June?
Yeah.
June. And we've seen these pictures. Now, tell us about the pictures.
Like I told you before, what's crazy is I knew a lot of things that was going on. So the first thing that I did, like I told you a couple days ago, I actually reached out to Mauricio Sulaiman, my brother. You know, and I asked him a couple questions, and it wasn't the response that I would have liked to hear. So of course, me being me and just being, you know, curious, I took matters into my own hand. I'm like, you know, let me just check just to see. The guy who had the pictures, I actually got the pictures from him before he even took them down. So I was already onto it, and not just him, but 2 other people who take pictures that everybody know of, that's well known in the boxing game. I got pictures from them as well.
Right.
So when I got pictures from them and everything added up, and that's when I was like, this motherfucker cheated. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, it comes out about these pictures from this particular dude. Now you got this dude taking down the pictures. Why are you taking down the pictures? They've been up for the last 3-4 months. Now you're taking them down. Why are you taking them down?
Mm-hmm.
But what's funny is how, like I say, it's funny how God works. Because when you think you know something, or when you know something, you just go with your mind and like, let me get this done before anything else happens. And I'll be damned, a month after I had got the pictures, here you go, boom, took off.
So you got the pictures. The 22nd, you got them around March, about March.
Yeah, it was about March. It was about March, because I waited for a while. You know, of course, the whole quarantine had happened. You know what I mean? So, of course, I was taking care of home and making sure bro was just checking on bro here and there. You know what I mean? And I dug further into it. You know what I mean? Especially after some things that he told me. I was like, okay. You know, me, like I said before, you know, me, I'm a curious person, and I research stuff, and I like to find stuff out on my own, and I'll go look. So I was sending him hella pictures every single day. Like, look at this, look at that, look at this. Way before everybody was, look at this. Oh, he got this. I've already seen those. Okay. And you know, so like now I even get some, you know, some fan of his and stuff like that. Hey, have you seen these pictures right here? It looks strange, da da da. I've already seen it.
Because you have them.
I have them.
Right. And it's very coincidental how all of a sudden this whole gallery gets snatched. So what would benefit a photographer from snatching a whole gallery down?
I don't know whether he would benefit from it unless they pay him off.
Right.
That's the only thing that I could see. Because why else would you snatch them off? You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. If they were what's the word? If they were fake pictures, why take them off?
Right.
If they weren't fake pictures, you'll leave them on.
Yeah.
Counterpunched.
If he had, because I mean the problem is since he snatched it away, there's no way to see. I know you took the pictures, but then people can say, "Oh, Tay, you just his friend Wilder, and you might have just took him and did something with him." So there's nothing to compare him to because he snatched them. So it's like, well, it's slick, it's clever, but then it's like, why would you snatch a whole gallery away? It just those are questions that you ask, and you need answers for. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So, no matter if they was getting a lot of attention or not. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. Why would you take them down? If there was nothing to it, why would you take them down? Right.
Because you know that's the evidence to compare them to the ones that you have in the exact same way. Look, if those pictures that are circling around the internet, okay, we got to put it out there. I said it in countless videos. If that was the picture, the original picture from the photos, that's suspect, man. You can't. No glove has looked like that. None.
Like I said, I don't have a reason to lie. I'll send it to you.
Right.
I don't have a reason to lie. I haven't got on here and told one lie yet. You know what I mean? Right. But like I said before, everything that I'm saying is just, I've been saying this stuff. You know, people were like, well, why is nobody, even like I was telling you, you was like, why haven't nobody from Wilder's team came out and say anything? I may not be too much of a voice, you know, like Shelly and the other people or whatever, but give me one second. Hey, bro, was it, you here? You here? Okay, all right, no problem. All right. He on the way. What was that?
You don't have any reason to lie at all.
I don't have, like I said, I don't have a reason to lie about anything, because majority of everything that I'm saying I've already said. And then like I know at one point, you know, when I first hit you, and I was telling you the other day that, you know, I was saying, you were saying that, you know, Wild hasn't nobody from Wilder's team came out. I have.
Right.
You know, I was on different platforms, a different platform earlier, you know, in the year, and I was just, you know, dropping a gem here and there, you know, based off what, you know, bro wanted people to know. I guess what I want to say, as he just sat back and watched, it was just like, that's not true. Don't keep lying on me. And I actually got him to see what I was saying. I think that's what it is. I actually got him to see what I was saying. Like, bro, they're not gonna keep lying. You know what I mean? And like, I don't, you know, I'm gonna tell you the truth, whether you want to hear it or not. You know, and I think a lot of stuff was BS. And but I did come out and talk. I came out and said this, and I came out and said that. And like I said before, my voice may not mean nothing to most. You know what I mean? But for the ones who do know me, who do know that how close everybody in my circle is, that, you know, I do have a voice. I am my own man.
Absolutely.
You know, I don't have a reason to lie about anything. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter. Like, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Like, and at the same time, I can relate to this whole thing because I'm a fighter as well. You know, I wouldn't want to be, you know, hit with something in my glove or punched with something in my glove, or better yet, you know, just dealing with the whole affiliation in the back with the what you call the people that's in the back, I lost the train of thought. The officials and just the whole narrative cut out. I wouldn't want to feel that either. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, you know, I talk, you know, sometimes when I talk with a lot of passion because of how I would feel, knowing that, you know, I fight too. You know what I mean? Or when I see other fighters who have way more fights than me, who are in a position to make a name for themselves. Right. You know what I mean? I don't want to see that done to anybody. But because the fact that I know, and I'm around, and I see certain things, I've got experience stuff on the highest level. You can see it. I see a lot of stuff that, you know, a lot of people not too, you know, wouldn't be friendly of, or fan fanatics about. So I see these type of things. Like we said the other day, boxing is a dirty sport. Right. You know what I mean? But bro, he'll let you know. He come out, they got me. He'll let you know. You know what I mean? A lot of people take it as he's not talking because he's lost. Like I said before, he don't care about the loss. You know what I mean? He don't care about the loss. Even after the fight, he said the better man won. I guess people want to hear him say it again. Right. For that sense. Right. You know what I mean? But he said it before. What's the use of saying it again? He said it before. You know, and he meant what he said when he came back and said he don't see him as a champion, knowing what he know now. Right. So, do you think Wilder will eventually come out, or you think he's waiting for something else to happen? I actually think he's waiting on something else. Waiting on something else. I got you. I actually think he's waiting on something else because, like I said before, now it's getting to the point where there's so many stories and so many things, and you can kind of see that it's all coming from overseas, painted towards him, and everything coming towards him. It's almost like they trying to make something up so bad so they can get him to talk. And he sees it. He's like, man, they just trying to get me to talk. Gotcha. Yeah. And D not a dumbass dude. He's a smart guy. Makes smart investments. Yeah, I see what you're saying, and I've spoke on that word that starts with a D and ends with an N. You know. Yeah. You know, when a lot of people say certain things, that's why I caution other channels. Like, you do realize you keep saying something contrary, they could come after you, you know. Right. And it wasn't meant for a threat. It was a promise, because that happens. You know what I mean? You keep making a noise about somebody did this, somebody did that. Pretty soon, something's going to happen to you, you know, from these people that you're talking about. So, you know, so I get what you're saying on that. And to really put the icing on the top, we know what we've discussed, and I know why he ain't saying anything. But don't worry. December 20th, right? If everything goes the way it goes. 19th.
Right. What I'm saying is the fight's on the 19th, but after the 19th of December 20th to 21st, then we can talk about it. What we're not going to talk about now, because again, I don't really like telling stories to endings to a movie with a twist, if you know what I mean. So I don't like telling things that people need to see instead of me say.
Right, exactly. I get what you're saying.
So, you know, it's one of those things where I know, and when you told me, it blew me away. It blew me away. But again, I'm not saying anything about it because we discussed it, and it will be revealed and reviewed after that date.
Right.
You know.
So, you know, the only person who got to do the talking now is him.
Right.
He don't matter what I say, you, anybody else.
Anybody else
has to do the talking. You know what I mean?
Counterpunch. Yeah.
That's all it is. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, the trilogy fight. How are we going to ensure that everything is on an equal playing field?
We got, like I said before, everything is being. We've already discussed it, but we still implement those different things every day, and it's going to be tightly secured on our end as well. Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Definitely. I can't really just sit here and just, you know, detail the detail, and I'm not going to, but definitely we
that would defeat the purpose.
We're here. Right.
It would defeat the purpose. Like you know, that's something that, you know, you don't. If you read The Art of War, you know why. And I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that.
I know what you're talking about.
yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that because it's one of them things that it doesn't warrant talking about or spoiling.
Right.
So I get it. And like I said in my videos, I said if he's not saying something, it's for a particular reason.
Yep.
So look, it's gonna be a hell of a fight. And one thing I can say that produced Glovegate 1, Glovegate 2, and all the other stuff combined, it makes the third fight that much exciting. So
yeah, of course. But guess what though? Guess what? But that's all due to, you know, guys like yourself and all the other channels. Because we do know one thing, the ESPNs and all those guys, they never said not one thing about it until Tyson Fury said he didn't cheat.
Right.
So they made people think like, well, what the heck, from a person who don't watch boxing, what are they talking about? Who cheated? They never heard anything about it.
Right.
So it made y'all look good. You know, even the ones who may not have said the nicest things about, you know what I mean, or the ones who have, or the ones who's in between, or the ones who really don't care. It still make just you guys as a whole look good. You know what I mean? Because y'all did y'all job. And guess what? They did it.
Right. Well, I can tell you this. Based on all the controversy, it's going to be one hell of a fight because, see, there's so many questions you have to ask yourself at this point. People are going to be itching to know how the third fight's going to wind out. Right. So, you know, it's one of them things, man, that we got to see. I'm looking forward to it. That's the fight. Really, that's the heavyweight fight of the year. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is because it might be the last time those two guys get to fight. Maybe, maybe not. You know what I mean? We don't know. But you know what I mean? Third time's a charm. You know, if you haven't heard, we're going for the third. You know, those type of things. So we don't know. We really don't know at that point. But we know that fight is a very highly anticipated fight. And man, I thank you for coming on the show, clearing a lot of things up that we didn't know. And now we know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, I'd like to say before, I totally appreciate it. You know what I mean? And at the same time, we both sat down and got our differences out the way. And that's what it's about, you know, two brothers coming together and talking things out. And then at the same time, got on the show. And hopefully, you know, it is what it is. Like I said, I'm not here to trade it, to persuade the crowd one way or the crowd this way. No, that's not me. I'm a fair person. I like to say what I have to say, my knowledge. You know what I mean? I'm not a liar. I wouldn't, you know, like I said before, I just do this out of the love of my brother. You know what I mean? Because I know what he's done for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So at the time, it's like, no, I'm not going to let nobody keep playing on your name, you know, and then to the same time, to the same our own people laugh at you, and they don't even know what the cause is really about. So you know what I mean. So it just it just that plays with me. You know what I mean. And I thank you again for let me hear my voice be heard.
No problem, man. And you know what? I'm glad you're on the show because it clears up so many things that a lot of people didn't know. And, you know, we look at Wilder in a different light. We know he's going to come into the fight 100% or closest to it. So, you know, look, it's going to be an exciting fight, man. And you know what? I appreciate you coming on, but don't worry. This ain't the last one because we got to come back for the grand finale. And we'll see that as time permits. Man, I ain't gonna waste too much of your time, man. I appreciate you from coming on, and
yes,
I'll see you in the future, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Thank you for coming on the show, and you've been counterpunched.
Yes, sir.
And I've been counterpunched.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, yes, sir. Appreciate you, brother.
No problem, man. You have a good day, brother. God bless you,
bro. Yes, sir.